Welcome back. The Chief of Naval Operations is preparing a three-dimensional approach to delivering the capability he and Congress expect the Navy to deliver. In my exclusive conversation with him at the Navy League Sea Airspace 2021 virtual preview, the CNO, Admiral Michael Gilday, told me those three dimensions and the timeline he's pursuing to deliver them.
Under the sea, on the sea, and in the air. Under the sea, all of our Virginia-class Block 3s and Block 4s should be delivered by 2025 with an undersea weapon that has that's more lethal and has greater range. On the sea, we'll be just at the cusp of delivering our first Constellation-class frigate. We'll be delivering the DDG Flight 3s in earnest, and we are investing in a longer-range weapon, the Maritime Strike Tomahawk, which gives us range and speed to reach out and touch an adversary. And then lastly, by 2025, we believe if we stay on path, that we'll be delivering the Zumwalt-class destroyers with a hypersonic missile capability. In the air, we'll have half of our air wings will have a fourth and fifth generation mix, which analysis has shown to be quite effective against our adversaries. Tied in with that is a longer range air-to-surface missile. It gives us greater reach and greater punch. And along with that, our P8s, our new increment of P8s are investing as well to upgrade. All of that's coming into play by 2025. And so we do have an investment strategy that incrementally gets us to a more capable, a more lethal fleet, but not necessarily a bigger fleet unless we saw a rise in the top line.
A number of observers, and I include myself in this cohort, Admiral, talk about the 355 number and maybe don't spend as much time as we should talking about the capability of the fleet, that the fleet can deliver at that number. What's the delta between the capability that the fleet can deliver today and the capability that you envision a 355 ship or somewhere on that landscape of what the shipbuilding plan has proposed, 320 some to 370 some? What's the capability that that fleet will deliver that maybe we don't have today, sir?
Yes. So in terms of numbers, it really gets down to how we intend to fight. So for about the last 6 years, the Navy and the Marine Corps have been working on the joint, on the distributed maritime operations concept, which I would argue is a joint concept and really is the Navy and Marine Corps' contribution to the joint warfighting concept that essentially synchronizes the joint force together as one large fighting element. With respect to distributed maritime operations, the way we expect to fight in the future is to come at an adversary across multiple vectors and multiple domains. So not only on, above, and under the sea, but also space and cyber. If I tie in the Marine Corps from, let's say, islands in the Pacific with a lethal capability that they could also contribute to sea control and sea denial, it gives you quite a multi-pronged approach to an adversary. But in order to exercise that concept as we have envisioned it, we need numbers. We need numbers to be able to distribute the fleet across a very big area in the Pacific. And so that's part of the challenge. Now, with respect to the analysis that we've done that's informed the fleet that we are investing in or the capabilities that we're investing in, one of the things that the analysis, the Future Naval Force Study assessment provided us was much better insights based on how we're going to fight. It gave us better indications of what we need to fight with. And so the capabilities and the platforms that we need to both deter and win. And so when you take a look at the composition of the fleet, it's heavily reliant, as an example, on submarines. And right now, our shipbuilding budget, 48% of it is dedicated to undersea warfare and new submarines in the Virginia and Columbia class. But also with respect to aircraft carriers, the world's or the U.S.'s most survivable airfields or aircraft carriers. And so I talked earlier about the fourth and fifth gen mix with longer range weapons associated with that. So the analysis really gave us a sense beyond the numbers what the composition of the fleet needs to be in order to effectively deter and fight. And that really comes down to capabilities, joint capabilities that the Navy would contribute to a joint fight.
I'd like to move to some of the platforms individually now, if I might, Chief. You mentioned the frigate program, the destroyer program, and just a moment ago, the carrier program. A successful shock test for the carrier, for the new carrier recently. What did you learn from that test, and how do you think that projects to the carriers that will come behind it, sir?
So it's the first in a series of 3 shock tests that we're doing with the Ford as the first in the class. The first one, the ship did not sustain any appreciable damage from that first shock test, which was quite a large explosive charge. We'll increase the intensity of the testing here over the course of the next month in 2 more shock trials. Having served on a ship that was damaged by 2 mines, this was years ago during Desert Storm, I understand the impact and the value of those shock tests and understanding the survivability of our platforms. And